Hello, my name is George Armstrong, and we want to learn how to set up the level and run a level loop today. First thing we're going to do is to get the instrument. I have the lid open already. This is an automatic level. And tripod. I want to take the tripod and set it up about shoulder high. Has the slippers on it. I'm going to try to stay close so that you can hear me and see me. First thing you want to do is to set the legs in the ground firm and approximately chest or shoulder high. Take the instrument carefully, set it on the... Never leave it sitting up there by itself. It makes me really mad. I dropped one once when I was your age. Don't do it. Keep a hand on it. Take the tightening screw, tighten it down, and that's it. Now, you do not set up over any particular point. The only purpose of this is to make a level so that we shoot a level plane. It does have a bubble on it. Let me indicate that. So the idea is that we're going to try to get the bubble in the circle. Once the bubble's in the circle, it's an automatic level. It takes over. Suspended optics take over. Now you can raise and lower the legs, which is actually a good practice for next lab. Or you can simply use the leveling screws, makes no difference, and get the bubble to go in the circle. It may take you a little longer than that, but that's the idea. We're going to take the level rod. I'm going to, in the day of COVID here, use one of the towels, the towelettes, just to give everything sort of a wipe down. Don't put it on the optics, not necessary. But anything that you may touch, I want to give a wipe. We have a level rod. We're actually going to look through here and read this level rod. Now, you'll notice, and I'll hold it tight here, this is calibrated in decimals. So we have 2 feet, 3 feet, but in between, these are not inches. These are decimals. These are tenths, like a dime. 20 cents, 30 cents, 40 cents, 50, 70, 80, 90, a dollar. Okay, so those are tenths. Now let me hold it closer and illustrate that the top and the bottom of each line is a 100th. It's not a line like on a ruler. So the top of that pointy line is 2.90. The bottom of the next one is 2.91. Top of line 92, 93, 94, 95. It's long and pointy. 96, 97, 98, 99, 3.00. So that's how you read the level rod. It may take you a little practice and you'll get it. Inside the optics are actually a set of crosshairs. You want to make sure that you read the middle one, the middle crosshair. There's actually one at the top and one at the bottom called stadia. You take the difference in those two readings. Let's say this is at 4.2 and this is at 3.1. Take the difference, that's 1.1 times 100, that's 110 feet. Means that you are 110 feet away. That's the purpose of the stadia. We'll explain that a little bit more. But in this lab, typically you would just read the middle crosshair. Now, for us specifically at UC on the first lab, we're going to do what's called 3-wire leveling. So we're actually going to read the top one, the middle one, and the bottom one. We're going to read all 3 of them and write them down. It gives us an extra bit of precision and it will allow you to do a better job. In practice, you generally just read the middle crosshair, but if you're trying to do something very well, you read all 3. It's called 3-wire leveling, and that's the name of this. You'll notice, I'll point here, there is a lath sticking up right about there. That has a benchmark added. It's a an aluminum plate embedded in concrete. It has a known elevation on it. I will give that to you in lecture or in lab sometime, but we have a known elevation on it. That's not important for the moment, but we are going to go and set this on top of it. Now, you want to try to hold it plumb. All right, you want to try to hold it vertical, both directions. And you want to try to hold it still. Now, for new students, that's impatient. All right, you get antsy, you want to move it around, etc. But the reality is you want to try to hold this thing very still. New students reading this are going to have a little bit of a tough time just because they're unsure of themselves. But again, somebody would look through. There is a focus ring. This will focus the image. If you don't see the crosshairs, you turn the eyepiece. It'll sharpen the crosshairs. And you want everything nice and focused when you're looking at the rod. You'll be able to make a better reading, and you get rid of what's called parallax. So you make your reading the top, the middle, and the bottom. This is our first shot. It's going to be our back sight. So we're going to take a back sight onto the benchmark. We'll read the top, middle, and bottom. The average of the three should equal the middle one with less than 100 or at 100. If not, you've made some mistake in reading. So by reading all three wires, it keeps you from making a mistake, which is really handy on your first experience. So if you don't get that, stop and just take a new reading. Read it again. Read the top one, read the middle, read the bottom. If you average all three of those readings, it should equal the middle reading within 100. So we're going to take a back sight onto benchmark UC. Then we're going to turn, and I'm going to turn the hammer here. And our second sight is going to be up by the sidewalk on MLK. There's what's called GPS 1. So again, we will take a reading on that. That will be our foresight reading. Again, reading the top, the middle, and the bottom crosshair. Okay? So once we do that, you'll have the hang of it. Everybody can experience that. That takes a little bit of time. But ultimately, what we're going to do is we're going to go over about where that person's walking right now, across Brookline, and we're going to begin to measure the elevation of set points, or the points that are set over for our project on Burnett. So for today, for this video at least, until you get the experience, understand that what you're doing is setting up an automatic level. Turn it back here. You're going to be setting up an automatic level. You want to get the legs firm in the ground. You want to make sure that it's about chest high. You're going to get the bubble in the circle. And then you're going to put the rod on top of the benchmark, one person in your group, and you're going to find and focus the crosshairs, find and focus the image, and you're going to read the top, the middle, and the bottom crosshairs inside there and average them together. Okay? I'm going to be out here helping you get the numbers in the correct columns, but until you feel that, get that experience, that's what we're trying to get accomplished today. And we'll do several points, and hopefully, if things go great, your very last shot, your very last reading, then we'll be back onto the benchmark, and you will have run a control loop. So this is the introduction to 3-wire leveling. Here comes our siren. We hear it every video. Our 3-wire leveling lab, and we want everybody to have a good experience. When you're done, if you would like to, again, kind of give everything a little wipe down with an alcohol pad, certainly before the next person uses it, and that's what we're going to do today.